Okay, we've done the top 10 best horror of 2022. Now we're going to do the absolute crap fest worst. Top 10 worst horror movies of 2022. Let's go.
Hey guys, what's up? Deep into the editing on this. Before the intro, I wanted to let you guys know you're going to see me pop up from time to time in here. My own fault. Throughout the year, I like to update my letterbox as I watch the new movies. And I've always been great at it. But for some reason this year, I slipped up a few times. Really, a lot of you guys on Twitter would let me know your favorite movies, and I would be looking at it and be like, oh my God, wait, I can't believe I didn't include that. Or, you know, your worst movies, same type deal. So anyway, you're going to see me pop up in this fashion from time to time throughout this video because I want to give you a nice, big and thick, meaty video. And I want to, this is it. This is the end of 2022. I don't want to go back. So I want to give you all the movies. My phone's ringing. But yeah, I was just so rudely interrupted. I'm just kidding. But coworker. This list is going to have, I guess, the best of the rest, or the rest of the best. There's going to be some movies that I liked on here. You'll see. I'll explain it more at the beginning after the intro. But when I pop up like this, I'll tell you if it's a movie I liked, and if it's once we get down to like near the end of the video, then we're going to get into the crap, and that's obviously that stuff's going to be there too. But you'll get the idea once we get there. So anyway, guys, enjoy the video.
What's up, guys? 2022 is all but gone. There were a lot of great horror movies this year, but there were a few stinkers. And let me put this out there too, guys. I didn't see Jeepers Creepers Reborn, so you're not going to see that on here. There's a lot of really, really bad horror movies that I don't see. And I can be influenced. If a lot of people tell me, hey, don't waste your time, I usually won't waste my time, okay? Because my time is very, very valuable. And I don't go looking for bad movies just so I can put on this list. No, I actually look for good movies, okay? So the reason I'm telling you this is because looking at my list right now, I would say the top 6 are like movies I don't like at all. I don't want to say bad movies because I can see the value in the filmmaking of a lot of these actually, but I just don't like them, okay? And I'm going to tell you why I don't like them. But from 7 and on, there's some value in these, okay? And I'll tell you that as we go along, all right? So don't think that my number 10 is a movie that I'm saying is complete crap. I'm not saying that at all right? And I just wanted to give you your money's worth. I want to give you at least 10 movies, but I'm going to give you 12 because there were some good movies that I didn't get a chance to mention in my previous video. So I'm going to give you 2 honorable mentions here. First honorable mention is Hellraiser. I liked what they did with the new Hellraiser. I think it's probably in the top 5, at least, of the Hellraiser movies. It does what a Hellraiser movie should do. It feels kind of dark and creepy, and it's unsettling, gets under your skin. I just don't think the characters were nearly as strong as the first couple movies. That's really the big negative I gotta give it. But overall, I still did enjoy the new Hellraiser movie. So, and I guess out of this list, because I am going in order, this would be the best movie of this list, all right? This would have been an honorable mention on the last list, but I didn't want to give you too many honorable mentions, so yeah. Next honorable mention is The Sadness. It's I think it's a South Korean movie. It is one of the most graphic zombie films I have ever seen, and I don't say that lightly, okay? This is extremely bloody, and do they cross the line? Yes, they do. Big time, and some of you might like that stuff, okay? I saw the value in this movie. You know, I do like South Korean and J-horror and stuff like that. There's a lot of great ones out there. This is a good movie. It really is a good movie. It's not the type of movie that you're gonna wanna watch over and over and over, you know? I don't think it has high replay value, but when you watch it, you're gonna be like, damn, you know? And sometimes you wanna watch a movie like that just makes you go, damn.
Guys, what's up? There was one movie from yesterday, or I guess the other day, from my top 10 best that I forgot to put on here. Because usually throughout the year on my Letterboxd, I will put movies in there on the fly as I watch them. And I forgot to put Smile on my Letterboxd. And Smile was actually really, really good. And a few of you let me know down in the comments on Twitter. And maybe in the comments of the video too, but definitely on Twitter. Some of you are like, how can you not put Smile? Smile probably would have been 5th or 6th of the best of, and I wanted to at least mention it here since I'm mentioning, you know, like some good movies on here like Hellraiser, which I just mentioned. But yeah, Smile was very good. I think it's what Truth or Dare should have been. I like that it just feels really like creepy, and the opening shot, you know, with that patient, and she literally cuts her own freaking throat, and I think it starts off with a bang, and I think they were a little bit too on the nose in the end, but still overall the movie was very unsettling, and that's what you want out of a good horror movie. So I was quite impressed with Smile, which I thought I would be. You know, I remember watching the trailer and thinking, this is probably going to be good. Yeah, Smile is definitely worth your time, okay? Like I said, if I would have remembered, I would have put it at probably like number 5 or 6 of the best of countdown. So I'm glad I got to mention it here. Also, a real quick one is Deathstream, a recent one that I watched. I even did a review on it. Deathstream, I'm really picky with found footage movies, but this was a really fun found footage movie, and I think it's just because of the main character and how funny he is, and it's just something different, you know. It was like a YouTube channel, and you're starting to see stuff like that crop up in movies now, which is cool. So I mean, you saw my YouTube channel in 13 Fanboy, right? So how cool is that? So yeah, Deathstream was really, really fun, and it starts off with a comedic bang, but then the last half of the movie, it's like it gets creepier and creepier, and definitely some like Evil Dead vibes in there. So I wanted to mention those 2 movies, Deathstream and definitely Smile. Now, back to the rest of the worst.
Okay, jumping into the top 10, gonna piss a lot of people off with number 10, Scream. Scream 5, I don't hate it, and I'll tell you right now, I give it a solid 3 out of 5. All right, so it's not complete crap. I think there's some fun aspects of this movie. I did like Sam and Tara. Those are really the only big things I like about this movie. I wish I could say I loved Sydney, but they didn't really do too much with Sydney in this, you know, or Gail. They had a nice little moment there in the last act, but I really did like Sam and Tara though, you know, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with those characters in the next movie. I'm even looking forward to Mindy showing up in the next movie. You know, I didn't, because Mindy was that character that's kind of like us, you know, kind of like Randy, and she's telling us the rules of the requels and all that stuff. That's the stuff we always love in the Scream movies anyway, when that one character, you know, kind of like what Charlie did in Scream 4, you know, tells you the current rules and the current era in horror that we are. And this movie does do that. I just thought the final act was so freaking predictable. Really a letdown. I mean, I've been waiting so long for a new Scream movie, and I wanted them to really just blow my socks off with the final act, because that's kind of what Scream movies are known for. Really great reveals. And I just thought the reveal was pretty lackluster. 3 out of 5. It was okay. It wasn't anything special to me though. I think this new movie has definite potential to be much better, okay? Because as of right now, Scream 5 is my least favorite Scream movie. Okay, the next one, number 9, is The Runner. This is a short that I saw on Shudder, and really I just kind of wanted to clue you guys in on it. I loved the score to this movie so much. I say short, it's like 50 minutes. But anyway, I loved the score to this so much that I bought the vinyl by Boy Harsher. Boy Harsher, the band, they not only did the score for this, but they also wrote and directed it. You know, high kudos for that. You know, we're talking, that's kind of like what John Carpenter used to do. But, you know, Boy Harsher, really, first and foremost, they're about their music. And they have a catalog of music. They've been around for a few years. But this was so good because of the music. Not really the story, but just the music. It kind of guided the story along about this character that is kind of a demon. Or it's been a long time since I saw this, but she's either like a demon or a werewolf or something like that. I really enjoyed this. I did quite a bit. I think I just put it on here because I wanted to tell you guys about it. And it's only 50 minutes, so it doesn't really qualify as a full movie. But also, shout out to Beth. She's the one that clued me in onto this one. And, you know, I really enjoyed watching it. I did. But I especially loved the score. 2 more that I liked, gonna give you right here. I'll plug it in right here. Orphan First Kill. I really like the direction. I'm not going to give spoilers, but you know, the first movie, if you've seen the movie, you know what it was and how Esther was, you know, evil.
and she's still evil, but in this one they kind of take it in a new direction, and it really just kind of keeps the story and maybe eventually the franchise fresh. And I liked how they handled this particular story. You had some other characters in here that were quite interesting and might be dickbags. So definitely highly recommend Orphan First Kill. And then the next one is The Menu, which was a big surprise. I didn't think it was as great as everybody made it out to be. I think I wanted a stronger finish or a stronger last act. You know, and last acts, they're tough, right? But I will say this movie really, really made me appreciate good food, but also appreciate big, fat, juicy cheeseburgers. And that's what I wanted after I watched this movie. And if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll just say there's a cheeseburger in this movie that looks really delicious. And it made me want a homemade cheeseburger. But Anya Taylor-Joy, fantastic in this. Ray Fiennes is always delivered. I mean, Oscar-worthy performances every time, Ray Fiennes. So, yeah, those two, definitely wanted to give those a good praise too.
Number 8 is Watcher, and this might be my most disappointing movie of the year. I don't really do top 10 disappointing movies because I don't think I can come up with 10. I think there was a lot of potential because it's a beautifully shot film. You got heavy star power like Maika Monroe. I mean, Maika Monroe, she's in like one of my favorite newer horror movies, It Follows. And really this movie reminded me of Someone's Watching Me, John Carpenter's movie. Kind of a very similar plot about this character who moves into this building, and right across the way there's somebody, you know, watching her with a telescope. So it's kind of an updated version of that, but I didn't think nearly as good. I thought this movie was just boring, and I'll say that right now. One of the worst crimes any movie can do, I don't care the genre, is be boring. Do not bore your audience, and to me that's what this movie did. There's definitely some value to the filmmaking though. It's a beautifully shot film, and there's a nice last act to the movie, but it doesn't save the rest of the movie. To me, this is not a slow burn, because a slow burn gradually builds the story along and kind of almost compounds what has come before. Whereas this one didn't really do that. It just, you know, kind of went through the motions. Number 7 is C for Me. Remember the movie Hush, where you had the deaf character and the killer? Well, this was the blind character and the killer, but this movie's not nearly as good as Hush. For the most part, I felt this movie was very lackluster and highly forgettable. You know, I talked about one crime of being boring, but another crime is being forgettable. And this is one of those movies that, like, almost as soon as I finished watching it, I was dumping it out of my brain. It just didn't really do anything for me. And it's a shame because I liked the premise of having this blind character, but it just didn't feel like it pushed the envelope. It didn't do anything really new outside of maybe the premise, although we've had blind characters in the past, because that really ups the danger factor, right? But I didn't think it really capitalized on that. You know, it's not a movie that I was running out trying to tell everybody about after. You know, it just kind of came and went. So that's really all I have to say about that one. Okay, these next 6 are movies that I would definitely say are the worst of the year. Did not like them at all, okay? Number 6, Nope. And this is probably a controversial one. A lot of my friends really liked this movie. You know, I know Robbie Sobel. This is like one of his favorite movies of the year. I will say I'm a Jordan Peele fan. I like Get Out. Us was actually my favorite movie of 2019. I think Us is really amazing. The idea of Jordan Peele tackling an alien invasion type movie, thinking back to like Signs, stuff like that, I was really excited for this movie. And it turned out to be just such a big letdown. You know, there were some moments of promise in the movie, but then they just didn't really pay off for me. I think the one saving grace for this movie was Keke Palmer. I loved her performance. I thought she was pretty much the only thing that held this movie up for me. Daniel Kaluuya is a great actor. Loved him in everything he's done, but this one right here, he just felt like he was asleep the whole movie. But really, and light spoilers here, okay, the spaceship in the final act of this movie was just such a big letdown. Maybe I don't get it, I don't know, but it looked like a flying napkin. You know how you go to like one of these nice restaurants and they have this nice napkin with your silverware and everything. It looked like one of those in the sky. I just couldn't get into it at all. And they had Michael Wincott in it, and I felt like Michael Wincott was wasted. Nope, unfortunately, and I hate to use this easy joke, but it's a nope for sure. Number 5 is The Invitation. This movie is horrible. This is what I call young adult horror. This is a name that I just thought up this year. I was like, what is it about The Invitation that is so bad to me? And I think I figured it out. It's young adult horror. And what I mean by that is it's not really horror. It's not scary at all. It's like somebody's trying to make this young adult movie and sprinkle in maybe some creepy vampire elements in there, but nothing's unique about the movie. These scares are all typical jump scares. You know those scares that you can predict 5 seconds before they happen? Oh, there's gonna be a jump. Oh, there it is right there, okay. Yeah, that's what this movie is. I think the only good thing, because I like to give some kind of kudos to any movie that I watch, is I think the final act visually had some nice stuff going for it, okay? I felt like most of this movie was trying to be a love story, even though it really isn't a love story because of what happens in the last act. You know, I love vampire movies, guys. That's what it all comes down to. I love really good, dark, heavy, scary vampire movies, you know, because vampires are really interesting characters. But for some reason, there are so many really shitty vampire movies out there, and I just don't get it. Maybe it's an easy thing to pull off visually because all you got to do is have the teeth, maybe a little bit of blood. But there's so many great stories that you can tell with that. I mean, like Bram Stoker's Dracula. Jesus, they go hog wild with that freaking story, and it's wonderful. This was just, it felt like a young adult movie that they wanted to make, I guess, a vampire situation out of.
Okay, guys, we're in the crap, and I wanted to give you 2 crappy movies that I forgot to put on my list for Letterboxd, but I definitely have to mention them. One of them's going to be controversial because a lot of you like this movie, okay? We'll start with that one. Bodies, 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 okay? And you know what? This is the one movie that I can see the value in it. I really, you know, I didn't like the ending of this movie, and you'll see that in my review. A lot of you guys, I hate to use this word, but corrected me on that. And you know what? I'll give you guys the credit on here. I think you're right. I think I didn't really get the ending, but after I stepped back and thought about it, I think it is the most logical ending given the characters. I still don't like the movie, and maybe it's a generational thing. I hated these characters. I'm sorry, guys. I just found the characters extremely annoying. They're not characters that I wanted to spend 2 hours with. Let's just put it that way. So I guess if they all died, I would have loved it. And I think I would have preferred if they all died, okay? I'm not telling you if they did or not. No spoilers. And also, Pete Davidson, not a fan, okay? Everything the guy puts out, I just don't really like. I don't like his style of acting, his style of comedy. Personal preference, okay? You might love the guy. And a lot of you guys love this movie, and I'm so glad you did, guys. I'm so glad you did. And that's one misunderstanding, I think, when I'm posting on Twitter. I love getting passionate with you guys on Twitter. I do. And some of you guys mistake that as me saying that I'm right and you're wrong. I'm never, ever saying that. It's always opinions, you know? So don't ever think that I think that I'm right and you're wrong. We're just all, you know, cutting it up about movies. So Bodies, 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 didn't like that one.
Number 4, speaking of horrible, Jurassic Park Dominion. And I avoided this movie for so long. Remember I was telling you, I usually, if enough people tell me that a movie's horrible, I won't bother watching it. But it was one of those situations, like a Saturday afternoon, nothing else was on, and oh, Jurassic Park Dominion. I've seen all the other movies, I might as well give this one a shot. I haven't been a big fan of this whole Chris Pratt trilogy. I thought Jurassic World was decent, it was okay. Fallen Kingdom is, I hate that movie. I really, really hate that movie. And if you watch my review, I tell you all the reasons I hate that movie. But kind of the same reasons I hate this movie because, you know, if I watch a Jurassic Park movie, I kind of just want vampires eating people.
Whoa. Did I just say vampires? Am I still that pissed off at The Invitation that I get it mixed up with Jurassic World Dominion? Oh my God, I meant dinosaurs, obviously. Anyway, back to the countdown.
That's what I want. You give me that and I'll be happy. But this one chooses to focus more almost on this like spy type story, and there's like these bugs that are in there. And you had Grant and Ian, you know, the great freaking Jeff Goldblum coming back, and they just felt out of place. And once they finally put them with the new cast, there was just no chemistry between that cast at all. This movie was long too, guys, and just a chore to get through, like a really, really tough chore to get through. And you know, you might say you just don't like long movies. No, Lord of the Rings, the extended editions are like in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. You can give me long movies all day, but you got to give me substance, you know? There's tons of long, Titanic, absolutely adore Titanic. But if you just give me a 3-hour movie for the sake of being long, Avatar, I can't deal with it. I'm sorry. And by the way, Avatar's not on this list, okay? That's a decent freaking movie. I'm going to do my top 10 non-horror after this. So yeah, don't expect Avatar. It's not that bad, okay? And plus, that's not horror anyway, so I don't even know why I said that. Number 3, Beast. I love a good creature feature. And when I heard about this movie with like killer lions, I first thought about Ghost in the Darkness. If you haven't seen Ghost in the Darkness, there's your killer lion movie that will really get under your skin. It is a great freaking movie with Michael Douglas, Val Kilmer. Can't recommend it enough. Do not watch this crap. Watch that. This movie was made up of so many stupid situations that you're just like screaming at the screen like, A, why would you put yourself in this situation? And B, they would be dead. You know, there's quite a few moments in this where they escape the situation and you just, you know what, I can suspend disbelief all day. But you can only go so far until I'm just like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. I like movies to be realistic. I really do, guys. And like I said, I can suspend disbelief within reason, but this just went way too far. And also, I just don't like CGI lions because, I mean, you need to look real. And I've seen some CGI bears that kind of work, but most of the time, CGI lions, they just never look like real lions. And it just takes me out of the movie. I like, you know, take like Cujo. It's not a lion, it's a dog. But Cujo, that movie scared the crap out of me because they're using a real freaking dog. And it's like a Saint Bernard, which are pretty calm animals. And they made me scared of that. This movie can't make me afraid of a fucking lion.
And the last stinker that I got to mention, this one is probably just as bad as my number 1. It's close. It's the Firestarter remake. And I think when you get right down to it, you know, all the worst remakes out there, this is pretty much a template for that. You know, this pretty much has everything that you kind of want to avoid in terms of a remake. It feels kind of watered down. The little girl, all she kind of does, and I don't like picking on child actors, okay, but it's just pretty much all she does is scream throughout the movie. I thought the villain was really forgettable, so forgettable that I can't even remember what his name was. I don't remember any of the characters' names in this movie. I didn't even see the original. I heard the original was not really that great, but this was atrocious. And I could not wait to be done with it. I wanted to set the movie on fire after I watched it. That's how bad it was, okay? Nothing memorable whatsoever.
Number 2, The Munsters. Rob Zombie is back. And I had a bad feeling about this movie. And you know what? Full disclosure, guys, I didn't finish this. I'd say I watched probably 90% of it, okay? And then I just turned it off because I could not take it anymore. You know, I appreciate Rob Zombie's love for the Munsters. I've always known that he loved the Munsters. I love the Munsters. And I appreciate that he loves his wife so much that he will put her in every movie he does. That doesn't mean that the movie's going to be good. And it doesn't mean that she can pull off the performance, you know? I don't knock him for putting her in the role. That's great. That's a beautiful thing. But unfortunately, we're left with a shit movie. Also, I'm not saying Cherry Moon Zombie is bad in everything. There's quite a few movies that I do like her in. But, you know, like Baby, she's made for that character, Baby, in House of a Thousand Corpses. Wonderful. Loved her. She is not ready for this role. And I could tell along the way because she just kind of kept making the same faces. And when you're doing a comedic character, a big part of it is your body posture. And you know, you always have to be on your game. But not just that, I'm wailing on Cherry Moon Zombie, but she's a small part of the problem of this movie. It's just not funny. And the script is written as a comedy, but all the jokes are just really, really bad. And it feels like the story's going nowhere. It's just a chore to get through.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the countdown. One more I wanted to give you, okay? Men. Just because I want to cover some ground that I didn't cover in the last one, okay? So I know you're enjoying the Stink Fest. I'm in that section right now, but I definitely wanted to talk about Men because a lot of, I've noticed a lot of other channels don't like this movie at all. So I figured I'd give the opposite side of that. I actually like Men quite a bit. Alex Garland's one of my favorite directors working today. And I think this movie is misunderstood, but I think it's also, you know, what you make of it. I think it does have some universal themes, but I definitely don't think it's like anti-man, you know, anti-men. I think this is focused in on one particular person and their experience with abuse, you know, which does happen, okay? But in the current climate that we live in today, people want to put labels on things and say that if it happens in this, then it must be happening with every man, and that's just not the case. Not the case at all. So that's what I took from the movie. But I really loved the direction of men. It's just very unsettling. So definitely wanted to mention that one here too. I'm covering all the you know, all the bases.
And number 1, Morbius. Wow, what do I say about this complete piece of crap? And I was just talking about The Invitation and vampire movies, and this is just another example. He's not even like a full-blown vampire. He uses this serum or something like that, which makes it even less creepy. There's like no blood in this movie. I mean, there is, but it's not portrayed in the way that you would want out of a scary movie. And then, you know, the vampire section of the movie is complete crap, okay? There's nothing foreboding or scary about it at all. Then you have the superhero element of the movie, which is complete crap. And I think that's not just because of Jared Leto, whose performance is pretty wooden, but also the villain in this movie, one of the worst villains I've seen in a long time. Sony, I think they got ahead of themselves. You know, they said, "Ooh, the MCU, they're doing all these great things. Let's start introducing our world, and the movie will be great," right? They knew this movie was going to be crap. So they tried to load the trailer with all this multiverse type stuff. You know, don't worry guys, the movie won't be that great, but at least it will introduce itself into this bigger world. Who cares? I don't care. I want a good movie, and this movie sucked ass. And it's just a CGI fest. Like all the action scenes, how the vampires, they just poof, turn into like dust, like colorful dust. Is that what I want? Wow. I had a bad feeling. You know, they kept pushing this movie back and back and back, and you can blame the pandemic all you want, but at the end of the day, it was just a shit movie. Whew, that was tough. Okay, guys, that's it. My top 10 worst horror movies of 2022. Looking forward to hearing your list down in the comments. Which movies did you hate? A lot of you guys are going to say Halloween Ends, and that's cool. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays, we do Free for Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on all my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and Drumdum out.